So we've interviewed you a number of times on this show, but never in this capacity.
I know. We've talked about so many issues, but not these
Why
issues.
Why this?
Look, because it's the most fabulous show, and I think when I was asked in the spring, I thought I was going to say no, and I asked a vet, and she said, how could you possibly live with yourself having said no to learning to dance, losing weight, having a great time on this fabulous show? And I thought, well, actually, maybe she's right. And so I thought about it. I talked to Jeremy Vine, who did it last year, who said it was the best thing he'd ever done. And so I thought, well, actually, maybe I'll give it a go. And so I'm enjoying it.
Did you get much stick from your sort of political friends?
I think in advance, there were a few people who I told who were kind of quite nervous, but actually they're all loving it. And I think, you know, I've been supported by Theresa May and George Osborne, as well as Gordon Brown and Ed Miliband.
Cross-party support.
It's a new coalition, which Strictly can do.
Dancing brings us together.
And I think also, the thing which is hard sometimes is when people say, we knew you were a politician, but it's great to see that you're a human being as well. Because politicians are human beings. They have families, they try, sometimes they make mistakes. And I think the reaction of some of my colleagues in Parliament is to say that it's really good for politics to see somebody who is out there doing something hard out of his comfort zone and not minding.
Yeah, but the trouble is, though,
you know, a bit foolish sometimes.
You wouldn't, if you had still held on to your seat in the May general election, if you'd still been in the Commons, you wouldn't be doing this. We only ever see our politicians... The most interesting politicians I've ever met are the ones who are no longer in the House of Commons.
That's true, and that's also life. And so things have happened to me. I'm chairman of Norwich City, I'm at Harvard, I'm doing Strictly, which I wouldn't have expected to be able to do. But I think also it's the case, in the previous years, I'd run the marathon, I'd learned to play the piano, I'd been on your show talking about stammering, but actually the thing people saw was politician, and that sort of gets in the way of everything. And so maybe the prism changes a bit, and people think, well, actually, so we're seeing something different. What is this? And I think it's quite good for people to see that politicians are human beings and don't mind having a go.
You're clearly loving it, that's for sure.
Well, you know, it's the most fabulous thing. By the end of yesterday, we can just about do the routine, but Katya, who's my professional partner, she's so brilliant. She wants me to remember the steps, the posture, the performance, the in and out, everything. And every time I get anything wrong, she says, stop, we've got to do it again, because you've got to remember all the different elements. It's really hard.
If there's one dance that you could still do, that you really want to try and keep in the competition for, what would it be?
Gosh, that is hard. I really wanted to do the American Smooth, which is what we're doing this weekend, and that allows us to do all those lifts and things. So I'm doing that now. I think I'd like to do the jive, although I'm quite worried about the jive, because I thought I was really good at jive, but it turns out I was really good from about here upwards. I'm great at all this, but there's all these bouncing feet, which is actually very hard. When you watched Ore last weekend, his jive, I mean, he had that bounce. It's just very, very difficult to sustain that, and so I'd like to do the jive. I wouldn't mind doing a tango, actually, the sort of...
What's Yvette said? Because there has been a promise, hasn't there, that she will do some more dancing.
Yeah, she's very envious, and we do a bit of practice in the evenings, but there's a sort of slight danger that me and Yvette practicing may take us backwards rather than forwards in our preparation. But she's been watching them all. She definitely does not want me ever to do the Paso Doble again. She thinks it's clear that I am not a matador. I went into last weekend thinking I'm going to be a non-camp matador, try and be as matador as I could. And all the producers said that was the most camp matador we've ever seen in our lives. So that really didn't work. She thinks we should learn the Charleston and make that our sort of, you know, our late-night disco, you know,
your
wedding
party
performance, be able to kind of do all of this stuff. So that's the plan. Is it true?
Because when I've read anything and sort of interviews and things that you've done, and this is the Yvette that seems to be saying this, not me, that it's great that he's doing it because he's losing weight.
Yes.
So is that quite important to her?
That was the main reason why she thought I should do it. And she's so grateful to the British public for keeping me in, because she thinks there's at least another stone and a half to go. So week by week, you know, I'm sort of finally getting back into the kind of shape I should be in. So far, it's probably about a stone.
Right.
In which is, you know, for 6 weeks is not bad. And it's still come off. It slows down a little bit, the weight loss, but it definitely... and I'm also just toning up and changing shape. You can just feel it. But it's
she's
just
going to love
because,
that.
Yeah.
I did 8 hours yesterday. We'll do another 7 hours today after the show. So you just have to keep going. It's like doing a marathon every day.
For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
The mum kiss.
Well, and
That was so blown out of proportion. We had to laugh about it in the end because we was like, you know, they was talking about it on all primetime TV. We was like, I can't believe how out of proportion it's been blown.